Gavin Woods here, obviously from Irish Footy Vlogs. Um, you asked me, would I be interested in doing a kind of so far situation with Cork City, a bit of a bit of a review. Look, this season it's been exactly how I expected it to be. City didn't make any signings pre-season. Maybe they did. They made a couple, but they haven't done anything to improve the team, and it just goes to show that at any level, doesn't matter what level of sport you're playing, but when you come from first division up to a Premier Division in any shape or form of any type of level you're playing at, you have to improve your squad, and unfortunately at the time City didn't improve their squad. So I mean, City are exactly where they deserve to be. It's kind of a strange one, I suppose for myself as well, because with COVID and that, City were flying, and then they had a bad spell there under Neil Finn, which I kind of felt sorry for the players around Neil Finn, because that was just a disaster altogether, and then you'd COVID and that, so it was kind of disheartening time for the club. I suppose coming, and then Colin came along, and Colin was involved underage, and the club was kind of, the club was in a kind of a strange place at the time, because you were kind of looking for a bit of a glimmer of hope, and Colin took over the first team from Neil Finn, and I think it's a bit of a situation with Colin is that he's obviously gone now, and I don't think he's going to get the recognition that he should get, really, because he took over the club, brought in the youths that he had been bringing up with him the last couple of years, and he'd been developing them, and he brought him into the first team, and kind of stabilised the club, and then obviously he won the first division last year, and I think there's all this talk and that talk. Look, and I don't know anything really, but I'm guessing there's more to whatever happened with him. I don't think it's just the case that he decided to walk. I think he obviously did decide to walk, but I think there was more reasons behind it that we don't know. Because I genuinely think he absolutely loves the club top to bottom. So I think there was obviously other issues with him, and that kind of obviously made him decide that he had enough. If you look back at the situation up in Bows a couple of weeks ago, his last game, the fans wanting to have a fight off him, that was just nuts. I mean, they're not fans, in my opinion. It's not his fault. He can only do what's in front of him. He can only play with the cards he has. And unfortunately, the squad isn't good enough this season. What I've noticed about the team this year is that, they seem to be kind of for 45 minutes, they seem to be good. And then it's like somebody just pulls out the battery, or it runs out of charge. It's like 100% to zero in 45 minutes. And the second half, a lot of the games, they're dying a death. It's like night and day between two halves. Like it happened against Pats a couple of weeks ago on the Cross. It was one of those games where in the first half, I was saying, geez, look, there's a kind of a response after Colin left, and obviously the players have kind of said, right, we better prove that we can still do it even when he's not here. But again, good for 45 minutes. But the second 45 minutes, they were just camped back, in their own half, and Pats well and truly were on top of that game. I suppose from a personal point of view as well, obviously it's been, a couple of years since I've seen teams, Premier Division teams, and you can obviously see as well that, there's class and a bit of quality is there, and you'll see it with the better teams, that individual players, they're always that 1 or 2 steps, they're 1 or 2 seconds ahead, and they're 1 or 2 steps ahead with the ball, and I've seen a couple of individual players who I thought have been really excellent, and I've seen some very excellent team displays where, as a squad, some teams, they don't have players. I'll give an example, just going back to a couple of weeks ago, like Pat's Chris Forrester, still has that bit of class in him. He's just so cool on the ball, you know, just an absolute ball player. There was a fella Diallo with Derry in midfield from a couple of weeks ago, and he was down the cross, and he was superb as well. And also the guy there with Bose, fella, Anto Donnell, I think is his name. He was superb. I think it was only his first season with Bose. He's superb. But the best team performance I've seen this year on the cross has been Shelbourne. People are obviously, this is what football's about, opinions, and if people watch it, they'll be saying, what am I thinking about, or what am I talking about? But I remember a stage in the game, and Shelbourne were in top in the game, but City had the ball, and City were playing the ball across the back three. They were playing three. I think they were playing a 3-5-2 as such, and obviously attacking with five midfielders, but defending as a five in defence, going to a 5-3-2. But City were playing the ball out from the back, and Damien Duff was absolutely screaming and shouting at him to get up on City's face immediately. And like as soon as he screamed at him, there was, as a team, Shelbourne moved up the pitch. They closed City down and won the ball back, and they were just excellent. I like, you can say what you want about Damien Duff, and obviously, again, it's football's about opinions, but I think he's fantastic for the league. I think he's a great advert for the league. He was a super player for Ireland, and it's great to see a fella who's, played with Chelsea, played in the Champions League, and he loves the League of Ireland and wants to see the League of Ireland do well. So I have huge respect for Damien Duff. Fair play to him. But you look at some class players, in the league, and Ryan Graydon as well, who made the step up from Bray to Derry. Superb. He's a real old-fashioned winger. I love watching fellas like that who just hug the line and are willing to take players on. I think, superb. So yeah, we have Shamrock Rovers in the cross on Friday night, and obviously Shamrock Rovers are an excellent team with excellent individuals, and I'm actually really looking forward to that game because, as I said, without being harsh on City, and this is the realism of being a City fan at the moment, but like you'll be expecting Shamrock Rovers to come away with a result in this game. But I suppose, like as I said, our season so far, there's plus points, but there's a lot of disappointing parts in it. Like, and I suppose, look, they need to bring in a couple of players. I said it pre-season. I even said at the end of last season, up in the FAI Cup final, went up to watch Derry and Shells. Looking at that game, and I was saying to myself, like, City are playing Derry next year. City need to bring in 5 or 6 players that are better than any of the 11 that were in the current team. And unfortunately, Colin didn't get the opportunity to do that. So there's a reason why we're second from the bottom. And like, I think, being honest with you, if you're looking at it now and you say, and looking in the first division, nobody looks for Galway will win the league, but Waterford look like the team that will come runners up. And I think if Waterford were to play City over 2 legs, like, I think they're better than them. Simple as that. But hopefully City can strengthen, and to be interesting too to see who becomes the manager. But it was a sad situation with Colin. He's, a really nice guy, off the pitch. He was a super player. He's, he was fantastic for the club, and that's the disappointing side of it. But that's football for you. Like, people have short memories when it comes to football. So yeah, so I suppose that's really all I can say. It is what it is with Cork City at the moment, and it's exactly where they deserve to be. But as I said, it's like, from a football fan point of view, it's great because it's great to see, it's great to see the Premier teams, down in the cross, and it's fantastic to see it, and seeing the quality of players, and just fellas who are excellent on the ball and are very composed in the ball. And I think with Cork City, it's a really kind of a men against boys situation with them. I think a lot of the teams, if you look at them, they're just bigger, more physical, like kind of faster closing down on the ball, where City are kind of, it's real boy stuff. It's real, it's like, going to a 50-50, and they're not really going to win it. And it's not because, it's not because they're not bad lads. They're just, they haven't stepped up to the plate yet. And I think they need 5 or 6 players to help some other players who I think have the ability to be Premier Division players. But at the moment, that's not the case. So yeah, look, it is what it is, as I said, with the club. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see Shamrock Rovers Friday night, and hope people enjoy this video that you asked me to do, and obviously people will comment below on this and stuff, and leave your opinions and that, and that's what football is about. But as I said, look, I'm a League of Ireland fan as well, and it's fantastic to see all these these big clubs, and they're bringing away great away fans with them. It's great for the atmospheres in the stadiums, and it's great to see big crowds in all the stadiums as well. And that's what the League of Ireland's about. So thanks, Keith.